The morning on Epsilon Prime began like any other. The stars outside the glass towers blinked through a purple sky, and the hum of energy trains echoed in the distance. Inside the Earth Federation Embassy, staff moved quietly through shiny halls, checking schedules, reading reports, and preparing for meetings with alien officials. At the front desk, a kind receptionist named Toma sat sipping warm fruit tea. He was tall, with gray skin and large eyes, a member of the peaceful Drellin species. He had worked here for 10 years, and he had seen diplomats, generals, even space pirates walk through the doors, but never a child. And definitely not alone. Toma blinked twice when he saw the small figure walk into the lobby. A little girl, maybe 4 years old, stood in front of him. She had a small pink bag, shoes that lit up with every step, and short black hair tied in 2 tiny buns. Her cheeks were round, and her eyes were curious, scanning everything with excitement. She walked up to the desk and smiled. "I'm here for Mommy's job," she said. Toma leaned forward. "I'm sorry, little one. Did you come here with someone?" The girl shook her head. "No, Mommy's not here. But I came. I remember her job." Toma's hands hovered over the desk screen. "What's your name, child?" "Mina. And your mommy's name? Nia?" Toma's expression changed. He had heard that name before. Dr. Nia, the famous human xenolinguist. She had worked with alien languages, studying old ruins and strange signals. 3 months ago, her research ship vanished during an expedition near a wormhole. All crew members were listed as missing. Earth Federation marked it as a tragedy, and now her daughter was standing here, alone. Before Toma could call security or alert child services, a soft chime rang across the desk. A red light blinked. Someone was watching the lobby through internal cameras. It was from Level 0, the restricted floor at the top of the building. Toma's heart skipped. Only one person used that level. Mr. Varn, the CEO of Galaxiscore, the richest, most powerful man on the planet. And not even human. The chime rang again. Louder this time. Then, to Toma's surprise, the elevator across the lobby opened with a soft hiss. Out walked a tall figure in a silver suit. His skin shimmered faintly, like polished metal, and his eyes glowed a soft blue. His face was calm, but his presence made everyone nearby stop moving. Mr. Varn looked at Mina and smiled. "Hello," he said gently. "I saw you came for your mother's job." Mina nodded, not afraid at all. "She worked with alien talking stuff." "Languages," Varn said, his voice smooth and deep. "Yes, I know. Your mother was very smart." Mina pulled something from her pink bag. It was a small, worn tablet. Not very advanced, but old and precious. She tapped the screen, and glowing symbols began to appear. They looked strange, curved lines, dots, and spirals like dancing stars. "I practiced with Mommy," she said. "She said it's important." Varn leaned forward slowly. His eyes scanned the symbols. For a few seconds he didn't speak. Then he turned to Toma. "Clear the next 3 hours." "But sir," "I said clear it," Varn said, still looking at the symbols. He then knelt down and looked Mina in the eye. "Would you like to come upstairs with me?" Mina looked unsure. "I have juice," he added with a tiny smile. She grinned. "Okay, upstairs, in a secure lab surrounded by glass and humming lights." Varn watched as Mina showed more symbols. On the tablet, scientists and embassy staff gathered around screens. Everyone was whispering. "She's replicating the ancient code from the Elia ruins," one said. "That's impossible. That code was only seen once, and it was incomplete." "She completed the pattern." Varn stood with his arms crossed. Deep in thought, he finally spoke. "This language was one your mother was trying to decode, yes?" Mina nodded. "She said it came from the quiet ones, the ones that don't talk to machines." "The silent species," one researcher whispered. "We always thought they were just a myth." "No," Varn said. "They're real, but we've never made contact. Until now." Toma asked softly, watching from the back of the room. Varn looked at Mina. This child. She holds what thousands of systems failed to understand. Mina blinked. Did I do something wrong? Varn knelt again. No, Mina, you may have just opened the door to something much bigger than any of us. You came here for your mother's job, he paused. And I believe you're the only one who can finish it. Mina sat in the middle of a large room on the top floor of the Earth Federation Embassy. The room was round, with glass walls showing the city of Epsilon Prime below. Flying cars passed in the sky, and tall towers sparkled in the light of two suns. The room was quiet, but full of people. Scientists, translators, and staff members stood around, watching the small girl carefully. Most of them whispered to each other, unsure of what to do. But one person stood near her, completely calm. Mr. Varn, the CEO of GLIX's Corps. He was not human, but he respected humans more than most aliens on Epsilon Prime. He had seen their growth, their courage, and now their children. Mina had surprised him. Her knowledge of a lost alien language was something no one expected. He sat on a chair across from her and gave a soft smile. Are you comfortable, Mina? She nodded. Yes, the chair is soft. Good. He placed a small fruit juice on the table. Here, for you. Thank you, she said, and took a sip. Varn looked at the old tablet she had brought. The screen showed more symbols now. Some were moving, glowing slightly. Can you tell me how you learned these signs? He asked. Mina looked up. Mommy taught me. She used puzzles and songs. Songs. Mina began humming a soft tune. It was simple and gentle. As she hummed, her fingers tapped the screen, following a rhythm. Each tap made a symbol appear. A circle, a wave, a spiral. The scientists behind Varn gasped. One of them, Dr. Lee, stepped forward. He was an old man, with tired eyes, but today they were wide open. She's using rhythm to unlock meaning, he said. That language, it's not just written, it's sung. Varn turned to him. You mean it reacts to music? Yes, we never thought to use emotion. We tried logic, machines, but this is art feeling. Varn looked back at Mina, who was now drawing something with her finger, a small glowing shape that floated in the air. It looked like a tree, but the branches were curved like antennae. What is that? Varn asked softly. Mina tilted her head. A door. A door to where? She shrugged. I don't know. But Mommy said it's where the quiet ones live. Varn stood slowly. He looked at the glowing shape, then turned to the team. This could be the first true message from the silent species, he said. They've never responded to our machines, never replied to our codes. But this is different. Toma, the receptionist who had brought Mina upstairs, finally spoke. But she's just a child. Can we trust this? Varn turned to him. She's not just a child, she's a bridge. A link between us and something greater. He walked back to Mina and knelt again. Would you like to help us speak to the quiet ones, Mina? She blinked. Do they know where Mommy is? We don't know, Varn said gently. But maybe if we talk to them, they can tell us. Mina looked down at her tablet. Then I want to help. Hours passed. Mina worked with the scientists, showing them the games and songs her mother had taught her. They wrote everything down, trying to match sounds with meanings. Soon, they realized this was more than a language. It was a way of thinking, a way of feeling. Mr. Varn stayed the whole time. He didn't leave, not even for a second. His presence gave everyone focus, even the alien researchers who once ignored. Human work now watched Mina with great interest. At one point, a loud alarm sounded. A new signal had been picked up from a hidden satellite in deep orbit. It was sending a pattern that matched Mina's symbols. Varn ordered the team to analyze it. Minutes later, Dr. Lee shouted, "It's a reply from the silent ones." The room went quiet. Mina stepped closer to the screen. What does it say? Varn read the translation slowly. We hear the small voice. We see the warm hand. We speak not to machines. We speak only to hearts. No one said a word. Then Mina whispered, "They mean me." Varn nodded. "Yes, Mina, they're speaking to you." That evening, the story spread across the galaxy. News channels showed the little human girl who had done what no adult, no computer, no leader could do: open a channel to the oldest, most mysterious species known to science. On planets far and wide, people of all kinds, humans, aliens, hybrids, watched her image on screen. And in every corner of the galaxy, one thought was whispered: the humans did it again. Not with war, not with power, but with a child's song, a mother's love, and the heart of a people who never gave up. The next day, the embassy was busier than ever. Ships arrived from other star systems. Scientists, ambassadors, and alien leaders all came to see the little human girl who had spoken with the silent species. Mina didn't care about the attention. She only had one wish: "I want to find Mommy," she told Mr. Varn as they sat in the quiet room above the city. Varn looked at her with kind eyes. "We will try. Your mother left something behind. Maybe it can help us." He tapped a button on the table. A hologram appeared. It showed Mina's necklace, the one her mother had given her before the mission. It had a small silver charm with a tiny star inside. Dr. Lee and the science team had been studying the necklace all night. Now they found something strange inside the charm, a hidden memory chip. "We found this message," Dr. Lee said, stepping forward. "It's old and partly damaged, but it's from Nia." Everyone leaned in as the recording began. The image flickered, and then a tired, smiling face appeared. It was Nia, Mina's mother. Her hair was messy, and behind her were strange glowing walls, nothing like any normal spaceship. "Mina, if you're seeing this, I didn't make it back in time. But don't be sad. I found something beautiful. I found them." Her voice was soft but full of wonder. "They don't speak like us. They live between places, between time. I call them the silent kind, but they are not truly silent. They sing in light, in dreams, in patterns." The recording shook, as if the room was unstable. "They don't trust machines. They're afraid of what machines once did to them. But they listened to me. And they liked your voice, Mina. Your songs made them happy." There was a long pause. Nia looked straight into the camera. "If this message is still here, then maybe you can reach them. Maybe you can bring peace. Maybe you can bring me home." The video ended. The room fell silent. Mina looked down at her necklace and held it close to her chest. "I knew she wasn't gone," she said quietly. Dr. Lee nodded. "The data shows her last signal came from a subspace pocket. It's like a bubble, hidden between dimensions. Normal ships can't go there. But the aliens might help us," Varn added. "If Mina can speak to them again." Later that night, they returned to the special room where Mina had first made contact. The glowing door she drew in the air was still there, pulsing with light. Mina touched it with her fingers and began to hum again, the same tune her mother had taught her. The door changed shape. A light shot out from the center, and symbols floated in the air. This time, the message was clear. The voice returns. "The child of the song. You seek the one who sang before." Mina answered softly, "Yes, I want to find Mommy." There was silence. Then new symbols appeared. "She is not gone. She walks the edge. She sang with us. We remember." Everyone in the room stared at the floating words. "She's alive," Varn whispered. Somehow, Nia survived inside the pocket. The next message came quickly. "Only the soft voice can find her. Only the heart song opens the path." Mina stepped back, unsure. "What does that mean?" Dr. Lee looked at the symbols. "They don't want machines. They don't want code. They want you, Mina." "But she's just a child," Thomas said from the corner. "No," Varn said. "She is more than that. She's the only one they trust. Over the next 3 days, Mina worked with the best minds from Earth and other planets. They designed a special chamber, a safe space with no AI, no machines, just lights, sound, and emotion. It would carry Mina's voice and thoughts through the subspace pocket. Mina stood in the middle of the chamber. She wore her necklace, held her tablet, and closed her eyes. Varn stood by her side. "Are you sure you want to do this?" She nodded. "If Mommy is waiting, I have to go." Dr. Lee activated the chamber. "We won't send her body," he said. "Only her mind, her song. If the silent ones accept her, they'll show us the path." Mina began to hum. The chamber filled with light. Symbols danced in the air. The glowing door reappeared, brighter than ever before. It opened, not like a normal door, but like a window into another world. Everyone held their breath. Then the light swallowed Mina's song, and she was gone. Mina opened her eyes. She was standing in a place made of stars. The ground sparkled like glass. The sky shifted colors like soft water. Strange shapes floated around her, glowing like music. She saw no people, but she heard sounds, soft and kind. Then she saw a shadow ahead. It was her mother, Nia. She cried, "Mina?" The voice answered. They ran to each other. Nia dropped to her knees and hugged her daughter tight. Tears ran down her face. "I knew you'd find me," she whispered. "I came for your job," Mina said, smiling. They laughed. Around them, the glowing shapes swirled in joy. The silent kind appeared at the edges of the light. Not with faces, but with presence. They sang a sound so gentle it made Mina's heart feel full. And then they opened a path. Back at the embassy, alarms rang. The chamber pulsed with light. Varn stepped back as the energy surged, and then, in a flash, 2 shapes appeared inside. Mina and her mother, Nia. They were home. The return of Nia and Mina was not just a miracle. It became the most important event in recent history. In the hours after their arrival, news spread across every planet in the Earth Federation and beyond. Ships sent messages of celebration. Millions watched the live feed from the embassy. Humans cried. Aliens blinked in surprise. Even AI news channels paused to report the event with deep respect. Inside the embassy, the mood was calm but serious. Nia was weak, but her mind was sharp. She lay on a special rest chair, holding Mina's hand tightly. Scientists surrounded her, but they stayed quiet. They knew what they were seeing was rare. A human who had survived in a subspace pocket. Something no other person had ever done. Mr. Varn entered the room slowly. He nodded at the staff, then looked at Nia. "We're glad you're safe." Nia gave a tired smile. "I didn't think I'd ever see my daughter again. But she found me." "She did more than that," Varn said. "She opened a door no one else could, even I couldn't." Mina stood next to her mother, still holding the necklace close. She looked at Varn. "The quiet ones helped me. They were kind." "They were listening," Nia added. "They just needed someone who felt, not someone who calculated." The scientists looked confused. Dr. Lee asked, "What do you mean?" Nia sat up a little. "They were watching us for a long time. But they stayed silent because we always sent machines. Cold voices, empty numbers. But Mina sang, she laughed. She remembered songs. That's what they understand, emotion." Varn nodded. "That's why they refused our eye. They feared it. It had no heart." Dr. Lee rubbed his chin. "So emotion is the key. Feelings, not logic." "Feelings are logic to them," Nia said. "They don't speak words like us. They speak with light, sound, and patterns of joy, fear, hope. They need heart to understand heart." Later that day, something new happened. The same glowing door Mina had drawn earlier appeared again in the embassy, but this time it opened on its own. Everyone gathered around. From the light came not a message, but shapes, gentle, floating forms made of pure energy. They shimmered like dreams, their colors changing with emotion. The silent kind had arrived. They didn't walk. They flowed. They didn't speak. They sang. Their song was soft and slow. But the symbols in the air translated clearly for everyone. We have heard, we have seen, we now speak. People from all species watched in awe. Many stood silently, some with tears, others with wide eyes. The silent kind turned toward Mina. The child showed the path. She sang, and we remembered. One of the shapes reached forward. A beam of soft blue light touched Mina's shoulder. We welcome the warm ones, the kind ones. We open the bond. A ripple moved through the embassy walls. Suddenly, every screen showed the same message. The silent kind has joined the galactic accord. It was official. They were now allies. And the reason was simple. Agenda. It was official. Little girl with a song in her heart. But not everyone was happy. On the far side of Epsilon Prime, in a dark tower, a group of alien diplomats from the Zyre Confederacy watched. The news with frowns on their faces. They're letting a child lead? One hissed, "She's human," another spat. They always make chaos. They're gaining power, influence, sympathy. The galaxy watches them now. One of them, the leader, tapped the control panel. Then we must remind them. Not all species are so kind. Back at the embassy, Nia and Mina were taken to a rest suite. Inside, Mina sat by the window, watching the stars. Nia placed a blanket around her. "You were very brave." Mina looked up. "Are the quiet ones really going to help us?" "Yes," Nia said. "And I think they'll help the galaxy too." Mina thought for a moment, then asked, "Will they stay forever?" Nia smiled. "Nothing stays forever. But what they gave us will last a long time. Trust." There was a soft knock at the door. Varn stepped inside. He carried a small black case. "I believe this belongs to you," he said. He opened it. Inside was a medal. Gold and silver with the Earth Federation crest on it. "To Mina," he said. "The youngest envoy in human history." Mina took the medal in both hands and looked at her mother. Nia kissed her forehead. "You earned it." That night, a soft pulse went through the galaxy. A signal from the silent kind. It was not words. It was a song, a soft, slow tune that only humans recognized first. It was Mina's lullaby. Other species began to learn it. The song traveled from world to world. No war, no demands. Just a voice that said, "We are listening." It had been 5 days since Mina and Nia returned from the subspace pocket. The embassy on Epsilon Prime was still full of excitement. Every screen showed clips of Mina singing, Nia's message, and the first contact with the silent kind. People from across the galaxy sent gifts, messages, and peace offerings. But far away, in a cold black station that floated above a red gas giant, a group of powerful beings watched all this with narrow eyes and quiet anger. They were leaders of the Zyre Confederacy, a proud empire of warriors and traitors. The Zyre had always believed in strength, power, control. They trusted machines, not emotion. And now a human child had done something none of them ever could. "She has made us look weak," one said, slamming his fist on the table. "She is a child," another growled. "But the galaxy praises her like a queen." Their leader, Commander Valak, stood slowly. He was tall, with golden armor and sharp black eyes. "It is not her fault, it is the humans. They twist stories. They turn accidents into glory. What will you do?" asked a younger officer. Valak narrowed his eyes. "We remind the galaxy that humans are not the only ones who can speak with mystery. We show them strength. And we take back the spotlight." Back on Epsilon Prime, Mina was trying to rest. Her mother, Nia, had told her to take it easy. But Mina was curious. She liked exploring the embassy halls, talking to workers, and learning new things. Today, she was in a quiet room with Mr. Varn, watching a map of the galaxy spin slowly on a large screen. There are so many stars, Mina whispered. Varn nodded. More than we can count. And now one of them speaks because of you. Mina smiled, a little shy. I just sang. That's exactly why they listened. A sudden alert blinked on the screen. A small ship was approaching, not through normal channels, but straight toward the embassy's sky platform. Varn stood up. That's not scheduled. He tapped a button. This is Varn, who is entering our airspace. A deep voice replied. This is Commander Valak of the Zyre Confederacy. I come with respect and a challenge. Varn's eyes narrowed within the hour the Zyre ship landed. It was large, dark, and sharp-edged, very different from the soft, glowing style of the silent kind. Commander Valak stepped out wearing shining armor, followed by guards. He walked through the embassy with pride and power, but his smile was cold. In the great meeting hall, ambassadors and scientists gathered. Mina sat beside her mother, and Mr. Varn stood at the center. Valak bowed. I come with a request. Speak, Varn said calmly. Valak looked directly at Mina. The galaxy has celebrated this child's connection to the silent kind. But the Zyre people ask, is it real, or is it luck? Whispers spread across the room. Valak continued, we have found an ancient object, one that has resisted all translation. We challenge the humans to prove their gift. Let the child try. If she succeeds, we accept her connection. If not, then the galaxy will see the truth. Nia stood. She's not a game. She's a child. Valak smiled. Then let her play. Or walk away. Varn raised a hand. Enough. Show us the object. Later, in a secure room, the Zyre brought in a small floating cube. It pulsed with red and black light. Strange symbols danced across its surface. None of the scientists in the room could understand it. Mina walked forward slowly. The cube gave off a cold feeling, like it didn't want to be touched. She sat cross-legged in front of it and looked at it for a long time. Then she said softly, This one is sad. Dr. Lee blinked. What do you mean? It's not just a box, Mina whispered. It's a memory. She took out her tablet, tapped a few keys, and began to hum. The symbols on the cube flickered. One by one, they started to glow in a softer light. The cube floated higher, and suddenly, it opened like a flower. A sound filled the room, soft. Music like wind in the trees. A voice came from inside. I remember the garden. Before the fire, everyone froze. The cube was speaking. Not in words, in emotions, in images, in feelings that reached the heart. Mina translated slowly. It's a message from a lost world. A child's voice, long ago, just like mine. Commander. Valak said nothing. His face was tight. Varn stepped forward. You brought a test. She passed. Valak turned without a word and walked out of the room. That evening, Mina sat with her mother again. Was I good? She asked. You were more than good, Nia said, hugging her close. You showed the truth. Varn came to visit them. You changed something today, he said. Not just with the silent kind, but with everyone watching. Mina looked at the stars again. There are more like that cube, aren't there? Yes, Varn said. And they've been waiting a long time. Across the stars, hidden places began to glow. Ancient machines, lost signals, messages from long forgotten people. And now, the galaxy knew who could listen. A child with a heart full of song. The sun rose slowly over Epsilon Prime, casting a golden light over the silver buildings and floating skyways. The Earth Federation embassy was quiet, but inside, minds were busy. People whispered in hallways, typed on glowing screens, and discussed what had just happened. Mina had solved a puzzle the Zyre Confederacy couldn't solve. The ancient cube had opened to her song. The galaxy had watched. Some cheered. Some stayed silent. But one thing was clear. Humanity, especially a small human child, had done the impossible again. Inside a private room, Nia sat at a table, watching old recordings of her research. Mina sat nearby, drawing stars on her tablet. Nia smiled. "You're very good at drawing now." "I'm drawing where you were," Mina said, "in the pocket space." Nia looked closely. Her daughter had drawn bright shapes with soft lines, the same floating symbols from the subspace where the silent kind lived. "You remember it better than I do," Nia said softly. Mina looked up, because it felt like a dream. But it was real. Just then, Mr. Varn entered the room with Dr. Lee. Both looked serious. Varn spoke gently. "We've studied the cube you unlocked. There's something inside it, something we didn't notice before." He placed a small device on the table. A 3D image appeared, a swirling light, full of layered patterns. Nia narrowed her eyes. "That's not just data. That's a map." "Yes," Dr. Lee said, "and it leads to another subspace region, one we've never explored." Varn looked at Nia. "We think this is where the silent kind first began, their origin place. Maybe it holds more answers." Nia leaned forward. "And maybe more danger." "We won't go without permission," Varn said. "But Mina's connection may help us ask." Mina stood. "I want to help." Nia put a hand on her shoulder. "Mina, you've already done so much." "But if the silent kind want to show us something," Mina said, "maybe we need to listen." Later that day, Mina entered the light chamber again, the same one that helped her speak to the silent kind before. This time, she wasn't alone. Nia stood beside her. She wore a special headset that allowed her to feel the signals, not just hear them. Mina began to hum again, soft and slow. The glowing door appeared, symbols formed in the air. The mother returns. The child sings, "We are ready." Nia stepped forward. "We found the map. Do you wish us to follow?" The symbols shifted. "You seek the first garden, where we were born. We offer it because you feel, because you remember." More lights formed. This time, they didn't just show a path. They opened a portal. Nia looked at Mina. "This time, we go together." The portal took them to a ship, small, sleek, and made with both human and silent kind technology. It had no control panel, no engine switches. It moved with thought and feeling. The Songwalker, they called it. Varn, Nia, Mina, Dr. Lee, and a few trusted crew members boarded it with care. As the ship moved through the portal, space shimmered and bent around them. Stars disappeared, and silence filled the air. Then they arrived. The view outside was unlike anything they had seen. A wide, glowing field stretched forever, floating in the dark. Giant crystal trees swayed with no wind. Rivers of light flowed. Like music, floating islands blinked in and out of space. This was not a planet. This was a memory made real. Dr. Lee whispered, "It's not physical. It's emotional. The entire place is made of thought." Nia nodded. "This is their beginning. The place they created before fear took over." As they explored, the team found a central tower, tall and quiet, covered in symbols like the ones on Mina's tablet. Inside, they found something unexpected, a human figure, frozen in light. Mina gasped, "That's Mommy." Nia stared in shock. "That's me, but from before, a part of me stayed behind." Dr. Lee stepped forward. "It's a memory echo. The silent kind kept a part of you here, to remember. The one who first understood them." The echo opened its eyes and smiled. Then it spoke. The child completed the bridge. "The journey is safe now. We give this to humanity, our language, our peace, our story." The tower lit up. Lights flew into Nia's tablet, into Mina's necklace, and into the ship. The silent kind had gifted their full knowledge, not for power, but for connection. The team returned to Epsilon Prime with the gift. The knowledge was not weapons, not technology to conquer, but understanding, healing, empathy. The gift included ways to grow food in space, to cure memory loss, to bring dreams into communication. The galaxy listened. The galaxy learned. And everyone remembered that it all began with a mother's work and a little girl who came looking for her job. The Earth Embassy on Epsilon Prime was no longer just an office. It had become the center of peace and wonder. Since the return of the Songwalker ship, every species in the galaxy wanted to visit, learn, and talk. They wanted to meet the humans who had found the origin of the silent kind, and especially the little girl who had started it all. Mina sat in a quiet garden beside a clear pool. Floating flowers blinked in the air above the water. She gently touched the necklace her mother gave her. It still glowed faintly with the light of the silent kind, her mother. Nia walked over holding a small cup of juice and sat beside her. "You've done so much, Mina," Nia said. "You can rest now." Mina shook her head softly. "I don't want to rest. This is my job now." Nia looked surprised. "Your job?" "Yes," Mina said. "You found the words. I shared the song. But now, I want to help others talk to each other, like the silent kind helped us." Nia smiled gently. "That's a big dream." "I'm not small anymore," Mina replied. "I flew in a living ship. I talked with stars. I helped the galaxy become friends." Nia laughed softly. "Yes, you did." A few hours later, a big event was held at the Grand Galactic Assembly Dome. Every seat was full. Aliens with wings, scales, and fur sat next to humans, robots, and aquatic beings. The whole place buzzed with excitement. On the stage stood Mr. Varn, looking proud. He wore his usual long blue coat and spoke with his deep voice. "This galaxy has seen war, silence, and misunderstanding," he said. "But recently, we saw something else. We saw connection. Not made by machines or weapons, but by a child's heart." The crowd clapped. He continued. "When the silent kind opened their minds to us, they chose humanity. They chose the one who could feel more than speak, draw more than code, sing more than translate. They chose Mina." The lights dimmed. A soft glow lit the stage. Mina walked slowly to the center, holding her necklace in her hands. She wore a simple white dress with stars printed on it. She looked at the crowd, eyes wide but calm. She didn't use a microphone. The necklace glowed brighter. She spoke. "Hello." The necklace carried her voice across every mind and every species. "My name is Mina. I came here for Mommy's job. But I learned it was much bigger than that." She paused. "When I talked to the silent kind, they didn't ask for machines or armies. They asked for feelings, for memories, for songs. Because those are the things that last the longest." The crowd listened in complete silence. "They told me that long ago they stopped speaking with others because the galaxy became too noisy, too fast. But when they heard Mommy's song and my drawing, they remembered something. They remembered peace." A gentle hum began in the air, a soft background tune. The necklace was playing the sound Mina used in the light chamber. She raised her hand and said, "I want to help make sure no one forgets again. I want to help keep the galaxy kind. I want to help everyone understand each other." She looked out at the thousands of faces. "This is my job now." After the speech, many leaders came to speak with her. Even the Zaire Confederacy, who once tried to discredit Earth, offered an apology. A tall, glass-skinned creature bowed deeply to her and said, "You are younger than all of us, yet wiser than many." Another ambassador from a distant system added, "We tried to impress the silent kind with strength, but you impressed them with kindness." Mina smiled at each of them. She didn't say much. She didn't need to. Her actions had already spoken louder than words. Weeks later, a new center opened on Epsilon Prime. It was called the Starlight Bridge Institute. Its job was to help alien species talk to each other using art, emotion, and memory, not just machines. Mina was named Honorary Ambassador of Empathy, the youngest in galactic history. She didn't wear fancy clothes or give big speeches. Instead, she sat with children from different planets. She drew pictures with them, sang songs with them, told stories, helped them tell their stories. And slowly, the galaxy began to change. Fewer walls, more bridges. Less fear, more listening. One day, as Mina played with new friends in the garden of the Institute, a reporter asked her a question. Do you want to be the CEO of Galaxiscore someday? Or maybe, President of Earth? Mina looked at him with a smile. No, she said. Those are grown-up jobs. I already have mine. The reporter blinked. What job is that? Mina looked up at the sky. I help people understand each other. She stood up and skipped away, her laughter soft and bright, the sound that once opened a light door across space.